Hello, British patriots. So, as many of you probably know, there was some big protests in London on the 13th of September, which, as of recording this, was yesterday. And it was for Unite the Kingdom, and it was led by a number of characters, but mainly Tommy Robinson. There have been a number of claims about the numbers of people that attended these rallies. The Metropolitan Police estimate it, and the news or the general media is estimating it at anything from 110,000 to 150,000 people. And the 150,000 is like the generous margin that they're giving. So they're saying absolute maximum is 150,000. And elsewhere, and with Tommy Robinson, and even as far as Elon Musk and many people that Tommy Robinson has been retweeting as well, if you go onto his social media, you see there's a completely different number. It's being pushed that there is 3 million people that attended these events. And there's a lot of tweets, and we'll go through them just to show that, this isn't an odd remark. It is something that is being by people that attended that and supported that protest. And the question is who is right? And this video is specifically for people that are not interested in just hearing what the media say, because we know the media can and do lie on many occasions. We're not just going to take speculation or rumors. We're going to look into it, and we're going to take a deep dive, and we'll measure the area. We'll have a look at footage of the event. We'll have a look at crowd density, and we'll try and get a good idea of roughly how many people went there. We're going to be generous as well. So we'll even go as far as like measuring the distance of the streets, the thickness, the width of them. We'll look at live footage of the event, and we'll see the crowd density and where it goes from and to, and the route that they took. And I've got all of this. I've even got a crowd counting tool, which helps to have a look at estimates from anything from light crowded to packed. We'll talk about the general safety of crowds, and at what point it becomes difficult to maintain a crowd, or what point it becomes uncomfortable for people within the crowd. We've got some data on there, and we've got some images as well that will show us what the crowd density differences look like, and we can do a comparison between these references or these images to the crowds and as they're moving through the streets as well. Again, I just want to get to the bottom of this. I'm someone who's interested in truth. Obviously, there's a huge difference between the maximum numbers that the Metropolitan Police and the media like BBC, etc., are putting out there. I'm not a fan of the BBC, and I don't trust what they say. So I'm not just going to take their word for it. We're going to look into it. But then obviously there's a huge difference between that and the 3 million that's being propagated by Tommy Robinson. So I'm going to have a look at something with you. So I'm just going to share my screen. So firstly, it's just to establish justification for these claims. So we'll begin with discussing the 3 million claim. So the claim is 3 million attended the Unite the Kingdom protests. And this is something that we've got from Tommy Robinson himself. I wish I could zoom in. Maybe I can make it a bit bigger. So here we've got a tweet from Tommy Robinson himself. It says, "The Guardian reported 110,000, quote unquote, at our London rally today, yet literally had their own helicopter showing the millions of patriots. Legacy media proving again that they lie to your face for their agenda. This is why nobody trusts them." I agree. A lot of people do not support legacy media anymore. They're very, very skeptical of what the media has to say. I count myself among that. So I will remember yesterday for the rest of my life. Thank you to every single one of you that made that possible, from the stewards to the security, etc. And to the people who turned up in their millions, repeated again, millions. We got links to these here as well. If you want to check them out, you should be able to see them. Another one here. The liberal elite and legacy media have labeled everyone far right for simply voicing an opinion. Those labels don't wash anymore. millions of us in London yesterday. And again, he's sharing these videos. And you can check the videos, and we'll go through some videos as well. We've got tweets shared by Tommy Robinson. So we've got one here by Don Keith. Not familiar with him. But yeah, he's saying initial reports had the demonstration at 1 million attendees, but later ones confirmed the numbers close to 3 million. You can see at the top there, shared by Tommy Robinson. We've got, again, more by the same person. And our friends to speak with 3 million Britons. Tommy Robinson again, retweeting James Kint. I'm not sure who that is, but it was an absolute honor. There was over 3 million loving patriots in attendance. Elon Musk even sharing this as well, sort of getting behind this idea, which is the one that I showed you there. So Elon Musk retweeted this saying, you are the media now, which is getting behind this idea that it's ridiculous to even suggest that it was only 110,000 or even 150 is massively. To put this in perspective, the Wembley Stadium is the biggest stadium in the UK, I believe, and that has a limit or a capacity of 90,000, I believe. 90,000 people, which is very large amount of people, FYI. So I'm going to show you a video of Wembley Stadium full. Let's have a look. Can we get a better video than that? All right, so this is Coldplay. I don't want to put the music. One moment. How do I play this without turning the music on? Because I don't want to get copyright strikes, although I don't put adverts. All right, let me mute this. So this is Coldplay. Let's full screen it. So this is Coldplay at Wembley, with a maximum capacity of about 90,000 people. So you should see, well, it's in the night, but there's a lot of people here. Maybe I can get a better video than this. That's not a very good one. I was hoping it'd be a little bit better than that. Wembley Stadium. So Wembley Stadium is 90,000 people. Here's another one. So you can see, like, that's a lot of people. Keep in mind, see this little strip here, like the middle bar, that's probably about the same width of a typical street in London. We're going to pull up Google Maps and we'll go through the maps as well. But the idea is that, like, this is probably a street's thickness. And if you look at how large this stadium is, so this goes from here all the way around. That's just one bar. I'm just trying to get you to think in terms of numbers. What 100,000 people looks like. That's 100,000 people. What 3 million would look like is over 33 of these. So you'd have to fill, to get 3 million people, to put this into perspective, you would have to get 33 full to the brim Wembley stadiums and then have them walk through the street. So that's a lot of people, to put it into perspective. And again, if you just think in terms of, like, it'd be interesting. I'm not going to do that in this stream, but it'd be interesting to see, like, what the length of this middle bar is in terms of meters. Because we're going to have a look. We're going to go on Google Maps and we can measure distance of the roads and how many meters they are. We might even be able to do that if we zoom in on Wembley Stadium as well, to be honest. So it might not be too difficult. I can maybe have a look at the circumference of Wembley Stadium. We can go on to the satellite images, and I'm wondering if we do that, if we can see the seats. So then maybe we can calculate it much better. But we can do all of this, and we can check to see, taking into consideration the density. So on average, they say that a crowd of people is lightly crowded if there is about roughly, we'll say, one person per square meter. Yeah, so a square meter is not that large. So, give you an idea, like, if you put your arms out, that's longer than a meter. Yeah, so your arm's length from one fingertip to the other with your arms outstretched, that's going to be larger than a meter, or yeah, I would say probably larger than a meter, depending on how tall you are, how long your arms are. And you can check that yourself just to get an idea. And within that space, so if you do that, and then you do a little circle around you, within that space, usually it's lightly crowded if there's one person within that space. It becomes considered crowded if there are 2 people per square meter on average, and it's considered packed when it's four people per square meter. Packed, that's like to the brim completely. And if you go from 5 over, it becomes much more difficult to maintain that crowd, and it becomes dangerous where there's a risk of harm to the people within the crowd. There are examples of overcrowding. If you search that on the internet, you will see videos where like there's too many people in a crowd, they can't move. Like you don't have freedom of movement. The crowd literally moves you, and all of the people within the crowd end up acting like a fluid or like a water, and it moves them about rather than them having the ability to choose the direction they're going. The crowd moves them. I've been in crowds like that before where I've literally been completely pinned between everyone around me, and I'm stuck. I'm not getting out of this crowd. I'm in here, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's like a 6+, and if it gets to 7, 8, it's like there's almost a large percentage chance that someone, if not yourself, is going to get harmed in that kind of situation. From the video footage I've seen, it doesn't look like it was anywhere near that. It wasn't dangerous. It seemed like a very safe rally in terms of the density was. It was obviously, it was quite packed. If you look at the footage, and we'll see it, especially in the beginning when the police had everyone waiting. I think it was King's College London Waterloo campus near the IMAX stadium, the BFI IMAX, which is the big circle thing, which you'll see in the video footage as well. This one here, actually. Yeah, so here, that's the IMAX, the BFI IMAX. And there was a point at the beginning of it, and when we have a look at the footage as well, you'll see there was a police line here, and the crowd was packed behind this police line, going up the A3200, which I can't remember the name of the road, and Oxford Street. Oh no, Stamford Street. Is it Stamford Street? Yeah, the whole thing's Stamford Street. Yeah, so it gets packed up. That's Stamford Street there. This one. And they go up Stamford Street and they go all the way around, which goes eventually to there's like the Mad Hatter Hotel, and there's like what's it called? It's like a crossroads, and if you turn left at the crossroads at the end, it goes onto the Blackfriars Bridge. I think it's called Blackfriars Bridge. So the crowd sort of spills onto Blackfriars Bridge. You can see that they sort of move back, continuing on the A3200, and they also spill right onto the A201. So I've got like a map here. I'll share that with you. So this is where the IMAX is. So you can see there, the IMAX. And the crowd begins here, and it packs out along this road. You can see it's not perfect, but I've done my best. And it packs out and it spills along here and it spills along there. And we've got footage that shows this. And then it spills up here and over the bridge. Now that is when it begins, when the police line is there and they're about to do the walk, which takes them along the A3200 towards the Park Plaza London Westminster Bridge Hotel, which is this one. And then people begin to walk around this space. Then they walk over Westminster Bridge. They get to here. They sort of spill out and thin out here a little bit. But here is where you get the highest density of people, all the way up to this point, which is where the next to Dover House and the Royal Institute, the Royal United Services Institute, the RUSI. This is where the stage was. We can also confirm that as well because we've got a video footage of the stage, and I jumped into Google Maps and you can have a look, and there's a tree and there's a building and you can sort of see, and then they switched the camera around and I basically stood where the camera was and turn around, and I've matched the buildings. And so you can see exactly where it begins, which I think is next to this Field Marshal Memorial. For the sake of being charitable, we can even pull it back to like incorporate more space. But this here, this red area, that is the total space of where you would have found Unite the Kingdom protesters. Keep in mind the maximum density it began was when it was here. There was a police line there, right on that line, and then the crowd spilt back with high density into these streets and over here. Then the oh crap, I moved it. I didn't want to move it. Then the crowd was allowed to move, so they marched towards the stage at Whitehall, which is next to Parliament. And they went across Westminster Bridge and they started to pack in really, really high density here. Even then, and you'll see from the footage as well, because we're going to look at aerial footage of the whole event. But you can see that there are gaps in the middle because there was screens everywhere. There was safety lane so that emergency services could move around. And so this is incredibly charitable to put this space here, which is what we want to do. We want to be as charitable as possible because we want to get a good idea of the absolute maximum those numbers could be. And so I've spent a bit of time, made a bit of effort, sort of really making sure that this is as accurate as possible. And we're going to confirm that. Now, just to sort of reiterate again, so like this is something that was shared and said to be something that the police had confirmed. So I'm in London. Keep in mind, these people have large followings. This person's got 1.1 million followers. I'm in London. There are 3 million people on the streets. It's mind-blowing. I think this person even gave a speech on the stage. We've got this person, again, with a lot of followers, saying police have just announced. They're not just, so it's not just a claim that, that they're randomly saying. It's they're making the claim that the police have announced that there are around 3 million people at the United the Kingdom marches. Polish MEP, and so this video actually is quite interesting because you see the Dominic as well, the Polish Prime Minister. I think FYI, I'm half Polish. My mum's Polish, my dad's Scottish, and so I have family from here. And he makes. Yeah, so you can see the Prime Minister of Poland, he's saying there are 3 million of us. He points to Tommy. Tommy confirms, there are millions of us. There are millions of us. In the video, on this tweet here, it's again confirmed 3 million. So this is not like a straw man of the position. It's very clear that it's being said 3 million, and we can go around here. We've got another one here. Again, this is another large account. This guy's got over 100,000, 3 million descend, in the excess of 3 million patriots. And there's links again to all of these claims. So this is a very popular claim among Tommy and his followers. There's something endorsed by Elon Musk. Again, another account. Anyone who believes there was only 100K here are delusional. Yeah. So if you believe there's 100,000 people, you're delusional. There are millions out for the United Kingdom. Millions, 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 over and over and over again. Yep. So that is what is being claimed, 3 million. Now, if we did it, where's Google Maps? Let's have a look. So I marked out on Google Maps what we'll do it now. We'll do it live so you can see as I'm doing it. Google Maps. Let's have a look. Share the screen again. Okay. So where were we? I believe. Where is it? Yeah. So what we can do is we can measure distance. So this is the Dover House. Again, we can be charitable. We can pull it down to Horse Guards Avenue, although I don't think it went that far back. And we can mark out the distance. We can even go around the long way. Again, just to make it as charitable as possible. It comes here. We could do a loop-de-loop just to be extra charitable. And we go down the road all the way to here, I believe. Oh, further. Yeah, it goes down here. And then again, it sort of spills out into 3 directions. But what we'll do to make up for that, we'll just take it to the end of the bridge. It didn't go that far, but that's 1.96 to be generous. If we didn't do the little loop-de-loop, it comes down. And if we didn't do the loop-de-loop and we brought it to where we'll see on the videos, the crowd goes to about there, it drops to about 1.5. So if I remove these, you should see it goes to about 1 + 7. Yeah, so that's 1.7 miles of road. We can even check the width of the road. So at the thickest, I think it's here. Oh crap, that's not what I wanted to do. Measure distance. At the thickest part of the road, we're looking at about 35 meters, nearly 40 meters. If we come to about here, about 35. Now here, I don't think it tops at 40. What's it doing? Yeah, the absolute maximum is about 40. That's Whitehall, and it goes like that to about here. Which is about the same, I think. Maybe about 40. Yeah, around about 40. The bridge here, Westminster Bridge. Clear measurement. Westminster Bridge is about 25 meters across. And that's the whole of the Westminster Bridge. I think if we go to like here, it's roughly the same. Maybe about 20 meters. Yeah. So that's from building to, so yeah, the end of the pavement here to the end of the pavement. Yeah, about 22 meters. And it's the same for the rest of the roads. I think it's about 22 meters. Here, it's obviously a lot bigger. The road thickness. Ooh. And we can measure the whole thing because we've got that thing. So it works out. And not only that, you've got to keep in mind, so that distance that I'm using on the crowd generator or the crowd mapping includes the space where this fills. That obviously didn't have crowds of people in it. The roads were covered in people, but there were stops. And again, we're going to go over footage to double check this. But this did not have people in it because there's a building there. They were walking around it, and as we're sort of checking, you'll see that is included in the square meter space used to calculate it. Here again, I think this is about 20 as well, probably. Yeah, from even less. So that's about it thins to about 16 meters there. If we come to here, it's about 20 meters again. Like if we look at this bridge, let's have a look at this one. That bridge is about 30 meters. So we're looking on average anything from as low as 50, was it 20? As low as 20, as high as 40 in Whitechapel. The majority of the roads are around the 20 to 30. Whitechapel is the exception with its very large roads. And then there are small areas of large space. Small areas of large space sounds like a bit of an oxymoron. But there are slight areas where there's a lot more people, or a lot more room for people than average. Now, the reason I marked out that space, so that 1.7 meters, is because of the footage. So we can go through a few aerial shots. So this is the one that Tommy Robinson shared, which you can see if it's doing it all right. It's a very, very dense crowd that is surrounding the IMAX cinema, and it goes all the way back here. Now the thing is this is cut short. We can't see, like, we can sort of see the edge of the crowd here on the top left. You can see the crowd thins out here, and we've got no idea of what's going on the right hand side, although we've got a semblance that it's thinning out. And the reason is because I think people are coming down this way and they're moving this way. But it begins here, so we've not got an idea of what's behind this. But it's a very, very dense crowd along the streets, and that goes all the way up. So let me bring up the map again. That's not the one I want. Where's Google Maps? We'll just use this one. Yeah, so this footage here is, I don't want to do that. I want this to move, but it won't. It's not letting me move it. But you can see, so basically that footage started. So when it starts here, that's this bit here, the IMAX. And then as it pans, it's coming down this road to here. And then it finishes there. And as it gets to the bottom, you can see there's a very large crowd. So that building here is this one. I don't know, it's not got the name of it, but that building is this one here on that corner. And you can see the crowd sort of spills out under that bridge. We can even pull this back a little bit more. Again, for the sake of being charitable. I'm not interested in that. So it spills out over there. And again, you could see that it also spills out towards this bridge. And the reason I've took it that far is because we've got, again, footage that shows how far that goes. So here's some more footage. I think this was a brilliant one. That's the stage. So here's the stage. You can see, again, quite decent density. And it goes, pans out. No, let's go back. Yeah, this is a brilliant video because this shows the crowd as they're moving towards the stadium. And I think it shows all of them and how far back they go. Yeah, so that's Big Ben there, obviously. Yeah, so here we go. Okay. So this building that you can see that's sort of taking center stage, that is somewhere here. So that's that. And it's sort of zooming in now on the crowd that's coming down this road. And again, like, so we're sort of seeing how the crowd sort of conquers all of this highlighted area. So this is just proof of the justifying this in particular, yeah, marking out this space. We can look at the calculations as well to see how it gets to this number. You can see this isn't that dense. If we look at there's a lot of space. They're not like pressed against each other. Like if you zoom in, you can see that there is space to maneuver between them. Like I could wobble about here. I could move quite freely. And then as we go down the road, and the reason is because the crowd obviously had been held back, so they were very dense to begin with, and they were sort of packed very tightly. And then as the quote unquote the floodgates were open, they were able to move forward, and this relieved tension, so people weren't really like stuck shoulder to shoulder anymore, and they were able to flow a bit more freely. And again, you can sort of see there is space between people, very dense still, but it's not dangerously dense. And then as it sort of you know shifts here, it thins out a lot. There you can see it's a really, really good aerial shot, but there is a lot of space here. Now, to give some perspective, I do have links on crowd density. So we can see here, this is a really good resource. So this is Crowd Safety and Crowd Risk Analysis by Professor Dr. G. Keith. And it's got nothing to do with the protest, by the way. This is just sort of independently something that talks about event planning and crowd safety. And then you're going to kind of see the numbers of the density using density generators or like software that sort of shows it. So the images below is shown, 625 square meters with a tennis court backdrop, I guess. Oh, that's a tennis. Oh, these are tennis courts here. So you can get an idea of density. Each grid is 5 meters by 5 meters. This is 0.5 people per square meter. This is like 1 person per square meter. Now we're moving to like 1.5, 2 people per square meter. You can see the difference between 1 person. And when you double that to 2 people, this is a dense crowd. This is what general estimates are at the top end. So they say about 2. When you get to this will be at the front of lines. So for example, that early footage that was shown, that's definitely not, that's not even, I don't know, I wouldn't even say that is, that's maybe 1. If we look at that, that there is about, 1 person per square meter. It's not like that throughout the whole place. And we're going to see as we sort of like go through the crowd, but it's very thin there. We're looking at about 1 person per square meter. Very, very thin there. I think it's generous to say even 1 person per square meter at that point. And the crowd is sort of, they're spreading out because the roads are very wide. And there's a bit of a backlog. I don't know if any of you like drive or anything, but if you've been in a traffic jam, you'll notice that like when the front of the traffic jam moves, the back end is still waiting. So it'll be very thick at the back. But then as they sort of reach choke points or places like here, obviously it's a lot more dense. And that bridge, again, like there's still space. It's not at maximum capacity. You could walk, you can see the lines on the road, for example. You can see here, the markings. You can see the space. There's a car there, or a van or multiple vans. Here it's a lot more thin. So again, if we're looking, for reference, I think maybe at a push we could say 2 people. 2.5, I think, is a bit too much of a push because at that point you can't even see the lines. Here you can still see lines. There you can kind of, but it becomes a lot more difficult. There it's pretty much impossible to see the markings on the floor. So we're not looking at the 3 or 3.5 at this particular part. We're looking again around the 2 person. And maybe here and even less, because look at how much space there is. But there it's getting a lot thicker. And the reason is because there's going to be a choke point where they're not allowed to pass this road. You've got that police station there to prevent people from going that way. And you can see here along this, it becomes much more thick, especially like there. And the reason is because I believe there's a security station at this point. And so in order for people to go down Whitehall, I think they're being checked. So there'll be a security point where people are going to go through maybe metal detectors and things like that. They're looking for anything that might cause a danger to the crowd and to prevent any sort of big incidents from happening. Quite obvious. You've also, you have to notice these areas, and we're not going to add these, but it's just to take into consideration how generous these calculations are going to be. But there are large areas of empty space in the middle of this. There's empty space along the side where the pavements are, which will be for the emergency services. So the pavement here, you can see, is completely empty because there's barriers here that prevent people from going over. Also here, around the trees, empty. And then there's the spaces in the middle. These are larger screens for the people at the back so that they can see. But again, very, very dense because obviously everyone's sort of pushing forward. Everyone wants to get as close as they can to the stage. So here, I would say that you've probably got a very large density. So you're probably looking maybe, it might zoom in. We've got other footage we can look at as well. But even then, like here is like, that's not dense at all. there's lots of space. But I guess the reason is obviously the security lines, which is preventing people from going in too quickly. So that does fill up, I'm guessing, as time moves on. I mean, look at other footage. But this road here is going to be the most dense. And we'll see what else we can find. Because we've got lots of videos we can go through. Here's another one. I want to sort of turn that volume down because I want to talk. So this here, I believe, is more good footage. It shows you the extent of the crowd and how far back they go. Right. Okay. Yeah. So this is a good idea. So this is the crowd has already started moving. This is the back end of that crowd, and that is on this square. So they're not even bleeding out onto the bridge at this point, and we can watch the footage to see. So that's the end. The top side. So these people here in the top of the screen, they are this on the bottom. That probably comes to about here because you can see the corner. I think that's a pub. They're around this corner. That pub there is that corner. And then on this side, you've got that funky building again. This is this building, and that is this corner. We can even pull this here to be a bit more generous again. So this here is the back end of it. And again, we're going to go through this footage. You can see it's very dense at the back, but again, not too dense. Like people do not look uncomfortable. There is still spaces here for maneuverability. You can see the lines on the road. There's a lot of umbrellas as well, but like here on the left, again, space on the road, space here. Still very dense. Maybe looking on that particular place there, probably about 3 people. But then as it moves here, you can see it thins out as the crowd is moving. And again, for reference, if we're looking, I would say we're probably about 2 people, 2.5, 3 at a push in these given areas. But it will zoom in. So this here, again, is this road. This one here. So that's where we began. So that's where we saw the end of the crowd on this video. And this crowd is going to move, and you're going to see the IMAX eventually pop up here. But again, keep an eye on the density because this is important. Like, can you see the road? Is there space between people? Yes. Like, they're not pressed shoulder to shoulder. Like, people are walking very comfortably as they move down the road. You can see the roads again. Here, the whole thing isn't covered. People are sort of pushing along the side. So this is going to be the whole crowd. And I believe this is also when it's sort of packed out. Stupid adverts. I won't make you watch them. Stupid games. I'm not giving them our time. So you can see here, again, so this is the bridge. Just remember, that's the IMAX there. So that's the cinema. It goes under the bridge. You can see here the crowd really thins out now. So have a look at that and think in terms of density. We're not at 2 people here. We're maybe at 1 person, maybe 1.5, if we're being generous. There's a lot of space. Like there's about 2 or 3 meters, maybe 4 of just empty space squared. And it's sort of is the same as you continue. It's a very thin crowd on this particular part. It gets a little bit thicker as it reaches a choke point when people are turning the corner. People are trying to head here. They split off a bit. Here it becomes very thin just because you've got this, whatever thickness is there is being split into 2 parts. The road is obviously very thick here as well. The reason I'm sort of really raining down on the density thing is because this is crucial for determining how many people attended these rallies. And when we're trying to figure out whether or not 100,000 or 3 million is the best bet, because there's a big difference between the two. There it's thick. That is a dense crowd. This is Big Ben. Again, to give perspective, I'll show you here. So that is this bridge, and that corner. This is the stage, And so this is going to be thick. This is really, 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 really dense, with thousands and thousands of people. But again, not uncomfortable. Like you can see the live footage of people walking through the street, and they're okay. They're not, they're not squashed. They're not squashing each other. They're not stampeding each other. There's periods of a lot of empty space. I'm wondering if we get, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so here's the stages. You can see the, so this is Whitechapel. The main stage is going to be at the bottom of this road. But even here, you can see like people are moving quite comfortably. They're not being forced by the crowd to move. You can see like the whole of the front of a person there. And again, like we're being charitable with the positioning of the map to sort of get a good idea of how thick this crowd is, because you've got these safety spaces for emergency services to be able to get back and forth. I want a better aerial view. And this is the counter protesters and the top of the video and so on and so forth. But like, I think we're sort of really getting the point now of this map here. This is a good and very charitable overview of the space taken up by the protesters. If you want us to sort of go a bit overkill, we can show you some more footage. So this is, again, this is a good one because it shows you how thick and dense it is. So again, this is the back end of it. We know because you've got that funky building here again, which is the corner. This is the pub, I think. And so this goes towards that bridge, Blackfriars Bridge, I think. This goes under there. The crowd doesn't really go much further than that bridge, although they do spill out a little bit. But you can see, I don't know if it's this one. It thins out here. So they go a little bit this way, but it's thinning out there. So there's not that many. And then here, I'm wondering if it's this one they show you. Yeah. Do they? Come on, show us the bridge. All right, that's the bridge. There we go. Yeah, that's the bridge. So the crowd ends about halfway over the bridge, which again, we can even pull it back a bit further. Keep in mind, this is not just including the roads. It's like this is going outside of that. So it's a lot more charitable than just simply what you could fit on the roads. This is probably maybe doubling or tripling or even quadrupling the actual space that people can walk on. But that's a good idea for how far back that crowd is going. And again, in terms of density, it's not really thick there. It thickens up as it gets closer. But British people are very polite, and they tend not to invade people's personal space too much. So even in its most densest parts, people still have breathing room. It's not at dangerous levels being 5 per square meter or over. And I don't think there's any evidence of it getting like that at any point. That's quite thick. But again, you can see road here, there's gaps. If it was 5 and above, it's not likely you would see these gaps at all, because people, when it starts to get that thick with people, 5 people, 6 people, 7 people per square meter, it becomes very claustrophobic, and people start to yearn for their own personal space. If there is any space at all, they flee towards it. And if there isn't, they're trying to like force people to move out of the way. And when there is no ability to do that, like I say, I've been in these kind of crowds where they are very thick. You can't even move the crowd. It's just impossible. But this is very thick. This, I believe, is when they're being held at the IMAX. Oh, wait, no, they're going. Okay, so it's quite thick there. Keep in mind, we've included this as well. Although I do think this footage, I don't think they're quite at the stage yet. This is when they're moving towards it. It does a little loop-de-loop around this. I'm not going to watch the whole footage. Thins out again. There's quite a lot of space there for reference. Let's have a look at the crowd density. So look at that. It's probably, maybe about 1.5. You've got quite a lot of space. It's not quite like that yet, because there's not these massive open spaces, but here you kind of have that. Yeah, there you go. So that's the front of the line. So they've not even crossed the bridge yet. And so they're moving now. Yeah. So the march has begun. They're walking to Parliament. You saw the back end of the video at the beginning. So the back end of that crowd spilled out onto the bridge. Was it Blackmyres Bridge? Where did that go? Yeah, Blackfriars Bridge. So the back end, and this is way beyond half. That wasn't even halfway on that video footage. We can double check just so you know I'm not pulling a fast one on you, because we don't want that. We're interested in truth here. But look, even at the front of that crowd, it's not that packed because they're moving at a reasonable pace. People are being very British, very polite, and they're just sort of moving forward with that escort. And if we just keep sort of skipping, you're going to get an aerial view of where they're moving. So again, the crowd it's not just packed to the brim the whole way. They're moving around that large building now. And they're going to approach the bridge soon. There you go. There's the bridge. So the majority of the crowd is behind that yellow line. There is a smaller crowd in front, which is skipping the march, I guess. That's very, very, very thin. And there's the main street. That bridge is going to get packed as you can see that yellow line at the top. So that's them approaching it. I think I've overkilled it now, but you get the idea. Yeah, that this is fairly dense in certain places, not dense in absolutely all areas. But you know, I would say it's fair, even if you put it to 3 or 4. 4 is ridiculous. Yeah, 4 is a heavy crowd. And what we'll do is we'll just say 4 across the entirety of that map. Yeah, so and we can have a look. So light is like 0.3 people per square. We won't do that. This is 2. So these are the estimates. And keep in mind, I've oh no, there it is. So keep in mind, I've done all of this space. So this is including all of this. People are not filling this space at all. If you remove this, it's probably going to shrink a lot. The same with that. People are not filling the IMAX space. This is more than charitable. This is bleeding into the buildings. It's right along the edge. So this is more than 20 meters, despite the road stopping here and there. Ooh. I've moved it. And then obviously we've got this sort of bleeding over here. So this is very, 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 very charitable. And this is saying that there is a two people per square meter for the entirety of this, which is not the case. In certain areas, it really, really thins out, especially when turning these corners. This is very thin. Here it's quite thick. There it was quite thick. But even when they started moving, this is thin. But this is the limit of the space of the protest. People were not protesting, or people that were a part of that protest were not protesting outside of this area. The numbers that the media, so we've got here, for example, The Guardian, the numbers they're giving there, more than 110,000. We've got, who else have we got? We've got the top end, whoever this is, Le Monde, up to 150,000. We've got whoever these are. Who are these? The New Statesman. What numbers are they putting it at? Did they put numbers? Can you see the numbers? 150, nearly 150,000. You know, so they're all reporting between 100,000 and 150. Yeah, you got the Independent here. Where are their numbers? Between 110 to 150. Yahoo, I don't know who checks Yahoo News, but here again, 110 to 150. These are all based on the Metropolitan Police reports. There's other footage. So there's these, for example. You can go through this. There's hours and hours and hours of footage, but it all confirms roughly what I'm saying. Like here, you can see that that's the beginning. So this is before they've been allowed to move and go on the march. They're all beginning. And they stop at the IMAX and they go up this road. I think Stamford Road, I think it is. That goes up to the Blackfriars Bridge. This is when it was at its absolute densest, because this is just before everyone's getting ready to start walking. And you should see, yeah, it just sort of goes up that road. You should be able to see all the channels here as well. Oh yeah, there's another good footage. So this is that funky building. This is the back end of the crowd. Again, you can see it sort of spills up here. Doesn't really go that much further past that pub. You've got that funky building, and this is Blackfriars Bridge. Here you've got the railway tracks. So there's a bridge there. You can see the road. The crowd is not spilling out into this road. People are just sort of straggling down. You can see most of the road. So the crowd is stopping somewhere between that building and the end of that bridge. We've included that in my map here. So you can see the railway, and then the bridge for the railway ends there. So we know it went at least that far. So I've included that. I've included half the bridge, and I've included going this way as well. Let's include a bit more. I'm being way more charitable than the police are probably being, because I'm trying to I don't want any room for error. I don't want anyone to be able to say, oh no, but you didn't include this, you didn't include that. We're going for absolute maximum estimates. Like, what's the absolute top end we can possibly say based on the evidence, based on the video footage, off the entire thing. Again, there we go. And there's another video. I'm sorry. I know this is sort of like really overkill. But I'm not going to make you watch the whole of that. It's a 11-hour video, 12-hour video. But you get the idea. You can watch these. Again, routers, police protesters scuffle, 110,000, the lower end. There's another one there, 150,000. There is no one reporting 3 million, though. Not one. The only people that are saying 3 million, and I've checked as well, with ChatGPT. So here, I know some of you don't trust AI, but you can double check the sources and stuff. Do the police at any point estimate the numbers that attend the United Kingdom protest on the 13th of September 2025, led by Tommy Robinson, to be anywhere near 3 million? So it did a search. You can do this yourself. Ask it, see what it comes up with. It said, no, I found no credible police estimate that put the attendance for the United Kingdom protest at anywhere near 3 million. So as you can see from the tweets, like, people are saying the police are saying this. She said 3 million. There was someone that said the police confirmed up to 3 million working. Fed up. There we go. Official police reports indicate that in excess of 3 million. Yeah, that's what's being said. In excess, and it's not just one place. Like, there's multiple places. There, he's saying that millions. But I can't find anywhere. And if you can, please send me the link. You should find my email address somewhere on my YouTube channel. You can leave a comment, tell me the sources. I want to know this 3 million number, like, what methodology they're using to come to this conclusion. Are they looking at the video footage? They're saying they are. I think I don't know how true it is, but I even heard Tommy Robinson himself hired a helicopter to check out the space and to video it from above. He's sharing the Guardian's video, which is this one. Which is, again, this isn't the whole stretch. This is just that space there. It's about less than a kilometer. It's about 1,000 meters. When I checked from here, from these set of buildings where that initial line was to the end where the bridge was, that's about 700 meters. So that entire video doesn't include, as it goes this way, more than a kilometer, more than 1,000 meters of space. And on that map that I showed you, I've got too many things open. On that map, that video, the Guardian video, was just this bit. So keep in mind, the Guardian video where it shows from the IMAX to there, this small part of it, Tommy Robinson's showing you this and saying this. They're saying this video shows 110,000. He's saying, no, it's obviously millions. That small stretch of 1 kilometer space, which you can go on the video and see for yourself, and you can have a look on Google Maps, you can measure it. like we did at the beginning. That's not, I'll measure it for you now. I did it here. Was it here? Yeah, so from there we go. Yeah. So if we include this, yeah, so that's the IMAX. So that's the beginning. So you see this on the Guardian video. Let's say it goes over here. Let's say it crosses the bridge. Although you can see from the footage it doesn't. That is just over 1 kilometer to include all of that. It's not even a mile. It gets to about 1 kilometer there. So that from there to there's 1 kilometer. You can add a couple of 100 meters onto it, to be fair. So that is a very, 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 very small percentage of the entire field that I'm giving you on this. Like that video footage from the Guardian is just this small bit. I've included not just that, but all of this. Yeah. So keep that in mind. It's not just that, but all of this. And if you look at light estimates, obviously that's ridiculous. There was no way. We're not going to say there was 0.3 people per square meter in that crowd. There was definitely, on average, I would say there was about 2, which is a very fair estimate. And even then, with this, you're only looking at about 192,000. That's taking into account this does not have people in it. These are very thick lines that incorporate not just the road, but the buildings around them. This does not have people in it. This was very thin. Oh, we can... I'm making it thicker just so that we can't argue that it's uncharitable. I'm making it as thick as possible. There we go. And that's spilling out over the bridge. Like there's not, the people are not swimming in the Thames. You know what I mean? Like they're not standing on top of the IMAX roof. They're not in the Thames again here or between the bridge. This here is very, very charitable. And if you look, the estimates for a crowded are 21,000. Sorry, 210,000 people. That's at the that is maybe 50,000 more than the police met. They're probably estimating around 2. If you want, you can go to packed. So this is absolute. Like if you were to suggest everyone was standing almost shoulder to shoulder from beginning to end, all the way from the Blackfriars Bridge, all the way over Westminster Bridge, all the way up to the very stage, that all of this is just thick, dense crowd, which it isn't, because you can see from the footage. Even if you were to say that, even if you were to say this was like the Guardian footage, that video that you see here, where he's sharing that, even if you're looking at that, it doesn't even reach 500,000 for the entirety of the space. Never mind just this small bit that the Guardian shows in that video, which Tommy is saying is quite clearly millions, and that the legacy media are lying to you. This 3 million number is a massive overestimate. We put it to 5. This is now dangerous levels. Yeah, this is where people start getting hurt and injured. People start having panic attacks. People can't move, and the crowd starts to begin to move like a fluid. This is very, 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 very difficult to control along its edges. So, like when it reaches here, they would spill out because of the density, and they would pile up here. You don't get that on that video footage. And again, even on the photo, on the thumbnail, you can see there's a lot of empty space here. There's a lot of empty space here. This is not absolute density. And just in this video, you can quite clearly see maximum estimates. And this is like absurd. 5 people per square meter is not, that's like way too charitable. That's like pushing it to the absolute limit of absurdity, along with like really like making these lines as thick as possible and not being too much of an ass about like how much space they're actually covering. This is incredibly charitable. And like, no matter how charitable I'm being, you can see this number is not getting anywhere even near 1 million. I'm making this really thick now. Like people are like, people are flying into the ocean, into the river now. spilling out over into the Thames. Like these, they're pressed against the building walls around them. They're all like they've even come up this road here. Like I've got to really, really fill this space out to get it anywhere near to even 1 million. And this is maximum density for the whole space. Like every single bit within this red square area would have to be completely filled to the brim with people, all the way up to Parliament against the wall. You've no longer got that safety space for emergency services. And like, even then, like it's I'm trying to get it to 1 million, and it's like, it's really, really hard. Okay, there we go. We're at 1 million now. And that's like, you've got 5 people per square meter in the River Thames. And that's at a push to even get it to 1 million. And these are very, very charitable estimates. So to conclude, I think there is no evidence from what I can see from any media, even GB News. Like we could, for the sake of argument, let's have a look at GB News. I'm sure they've reported on it as well. These are going to be very favorable. All right, they've made me do it because I don't want to waste time. Let's have a look at the numbers. Tommy Robinson. Maybe we go Unite the Kingdom. Where's the Tommy Robinson? Did they not report on it? There we go. Tommy Robinson, United Kingdom rally sees 150,000 march. So this is GB News. These are like, they're not going to be against Tommy Robinson on this. But, they've estimate at the highest range 150. When I was being reasonable, even when I was being beyond charitable at the beginning, we were getting max 200K, 200,000. And that's pushing it. That was me like probably doing way more than the police were doing. And then to get anywhere even near 1 million, I had to just start to turn absurd. But hopefully, I hope this is helpful for you. And I hope you can see that, the media, although they do tend to lie, that, they weren't too far off at the maximum estimates of 150K. And that's quite a reasonable estimate, 150,000, given the space. Because you've got to keep in mind that when the Metropolitan Police are calculating it, they're going to have more data than me. They're going to have live footage of everything that's going on because they're going to have access to the street cameras. They're going to know what streets are filled and the density. They're not just going to be looking at like maps like what I'm showing you here or like, things like this. They're also, on top of that, they're going to have extra data. So they're going to be looking at the rate of the flow of people. So they'll have a camera set up and they'll be able to point. There's so many people within the camera at this point, and they'll have an estimate of what the space is, how many square meters that is. And then as the flow sort of continues, they get a good idea of the density of the amount of people that are in the crowd, etc. But the point is generally that it's impossible, like it's physically impossible for the crowd to have had 3 million people in it. There's no way. Like at that point, people are in danger. Like if that was the case, you would have seen, it wouldn't be all over the news about people fighting the police. It'd be all over the news that people had been dying from being crushed to death. 1 million people is impossible. 1 million people in that space would cause a lot of problems. People would be getting hurt. So the question you have to ask yourself now, okay, yeah, the media do tell fibs. In this case, though, they just seem to be sharing not their own opinion, including GB News, the data given to them by the Metropolitan Police. The Metropolitan Police have made generous estimates by even going to 150k. I think by me going to 200k, that's me being super generous with the borders in terms of the streets, the distance. I even worked it out just with ChatGPT. Grok worked it out, actually. Let me see if I can get Grok's estimates. Because Grok, keep in mind as well, is Elon Musk's. Where's that? Have I got it here? There it is. So we can see here Grok's estimates. So this is on one of Tommy's things. I think that was on this. Oh no, it might have been this actually. Yeah, so Tommy posted this saying, you know, there was millions of people. And so then this guy said, Grok, estimate by footage how many people are attending. And then Grok estimates, he says, based on the aerial footage showing dense crowds across Westminster Bridge, Parliament Square, Whitehall, roughly 1 to 2 kilometer stretch, my estimates is 100 to 150,000 attendees, accounting the area, and a typical density of 2 to 3 people per meter squared. Police reports from multiple sources allowing about 110,000. Claims of millions are overstated. And then he said, my estimates were based on aerial footage analysis, cross-references with police reports from these sources, all of them citing the same distance. Claims of millions don't align with the evidence. So the question is then, like, who is telling them 3 million? Where are they getting the number 3 million? Where did the Polish Prime Minister get the number 3 million? Where is Tommy Robinson getting these numbers of millions? Where are they getting this from? And then not only do I want to know where they're getting those numbers from, I want to know the methodology of the people giving them these numbers. Like, how did they work that out? What footage are they using to determine the space in which that crowd filled? Are they measuring that distance? Are they measuring the street widths? We could have gone into way more detail. I could have been like a lot more prudish and gone, no, this road maximum 35 meters wide and was 1,000 meters from there to there. And then I could have wrote that down and worked out the square meters and then gone over to the bridge. And the bridge is no more than 20 meters, 25 meters wide. And it's a distance of this. I could have been very strict, and you're going to be getting much lesser numbers than I got at the end when it wasn't even 20,000 or 200,000. Sorry. And that's with me being clumsy with the borders and not being a pain in the bum about it. But yeah, so where are they getting these numbers from? Where are they getting 3 million from? Why are they so confident? Ask yourself, why are they so? Like, and okay, if I'm going to be charitable, maybe he wants it to be millions. Like, it sort of feels like he's sort of gone, yeah, about 3 million. Like he's getting a rule of thumb estimate. But you're not getting 3 million from actually looking at the video footage, from measuring the distances and the street widths, for actually calculating the space, the square meter space of where the end of the crowd is all the way to the beginning, all the way to the stage. The density, looking at the density, taking into consideration like top end estimates where you're saying the whole strip all the way to the stage, all the way to the back end near Blackfriars Bridge, all of that was like 4 people, which is double like what people would normally estimate, that kind of density. Like even then it didn't even get to 200,000. So who's lying? Now, maybe Tommy's not lying. Maybe he really does genuinely believe that millions of people, and like obviously he put a lot on this. He made a lot of effort to sort of make this happen. You know, there's a lot of money spent on the event. They want it to be a success. Yeah, like 3 million, 33 Wembley stadiums of people piling through the streets of London, you wouldn't just see it on that little strip. That would have blocked off the entirety of the center of London. Like, think about it. Like, what's the population of Manchester? What's the population of Manchester? Manchester's population, the entirety of the city of Manchester, according to the 2021 census, is 500,000. There's not even 1 million people in Manchester, the whole of Manchester. What's the population of London? London is like 8 to 9, nearly 10 million people. Wow, London's really dense. 9 million people. It's like, what, half of London? Let's have a look at another city, Birmingham. Birmingham's 200,000. Like, there's no way. There's no way. What was Manchester's population again? Half a million. So essentially, he's saying if there's 3 million, that the entirety of Manchester turned up in London 6 times. 6 Manchesters worth of population in that little tiny set. Like, we're not even talking about the whole of London here. We're talking literally about like not even 2 miles of road. 2 miles of road. You're not getting 6 Manchester population sizes into 2 miles of road. I'm sorry. I know maybe you're all behind it and you're all excited and patriotic and that, and I can get that. But think about it. Like, have a look at references and then try and compare that to the crowds that you see. Do you really think that if you were to take the whole population of Manchester and then put them into that small little stretch of road, that you're going to be looking like, think about how big London is. Yeah. But that's a big place. Think about how big Manchester is. Like Manchester, Birmingham has 200,000 people in it. That's a big place. Yeah. Like, there's 9 million people here. And then what you're trying to tell me, 3 million people filled up this space? Where was it? Oh no. It's not even 2 miles. And that's generous because the crowd didn't cross the entire bridge. And it doesn't even get to 2 miles. There's no way you're not fitting. Like, to put this in perspective, if that's let's say it's 2 miles, yeah? Like, you're saying Manchester, like, if you break that up into sixths, what's that, like every 300 meters? Every 300 meters, every 300 meters? So it's 3 kilometers. If you're saying that there is 3 million, you're saying in every kilometer, in every 1,000 meters, there's 1 million people. 1 million people in 1,000 meters. There's you fit. Like, you can think of, you can run 1,000 meters. Quite like 1,000 meters you could do in pretty quick. If you're driving at the speed limit of like 30 miles an hour. Well, in London, it's like bloody 20 everywhere now, isn't it? Like, you're gonna do 1,000 meters in no time whatsoever. Like, it's not going to take you long. They're trying to say that you've got Manchester City twice in every 1,000 meters. It's not. That's not happening. There's no way. There's no way. I'm going to have a look at the comments because I've not looked at them once since we started. But yeah, let's have a look, see what's being said. You know, there's too many comments. I can't be bothered. I'll read them in my own time. But yeah, again, this video is for the British patriots. Yeah, this is for you, the British public, those who got behind Tommy in this event. I'm talking to you. Like, this isn't for anyone else. This is for the people that are listening and they're concerned with truth. Yeah, we don't want to just listen to what the newspapers say. We don't want to just take their word for it. Oh, they've said that it's 100,000, 150,000. Okay, where's the proof? Yeah, we want proof from them. Yeah, but we also want proof from people that are saying 3 million. We want proof from them too. What's the proof that there are 3 million people squeezed into 2 miles, less than 2 mile stretch of road? Yeah, with a maximum thickness of around 40 meters along Whitehall at the top end here. Yeah, this here is a maximum of 40 meters thickness. Here you're looking at 25 meters. And it was not maximum density for the whole strip. Here you're looking at, again, 20 meters along this road. That road is 20 meters out. These two spots are probably where it opens up a bit. So you got 3 main, well, there it sort of thins out along the edges, but it's sort of bled out in 4 main places. So you got here, which is a blob of congregation of people. There was a blob here. Even then, the footage showed this area was quite thin. There it was thick, and at the end here it was thick. But even then, like, there's no way. There's no way. So ask yourself questions. Why are they telling you this? Why are so many people eating it up? Why are so many people sharing that unquestionably? Like, they keep going on about, think critically, think critically. Don't just let people tell you things are true without checking that up. Don't just share that information without confirming it. Why did so many accounts confirm that like it was from the police? Like it had been confirmed that the police had suggested that this was, actually a number that was being shared. Like, I can't find a single piece of information anywhere that suggests that was the amount. Because look, keep in mind, these people are saying 3 million. Yeah, 3 million people. This guy even saying, like, official police reports. What official police reports? Notice none of them are giving links. No one has given a single link to confirm 3 million. If it was 3 million, fair enough. Yeah, like, I'm not going to argue with it. If it's a fact, it's a fact. But I'm trying my hardest to just take you at your word, give you the benefit of the doubt, and see, like, how on earth anyone could claim this was 3 million. But we'll leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did you watch this video? Are you someone who attended the march? Were you are you someone that thought it was 3 million and you were there, you experienced it? Because as well, it's hard to think about how large 3 million is. Yeah, like you can't fathom that crowd side. Like, it's huge. It's huge. Even 100,000, like Wembley Stadium. If any of you have ever been there, that crowd is a huge crowd. Yeah, I've never been to Wembley. I used to go to Celtic. I used to watch Celtic in Glasgow. My family used to take me to watch them. That's not that big of a crowd. What's Celtic capacity? Celtic Football Club Stadium capacity. Celtics is 60,000. And I thought that was a crowd. That was like an intimidating amount of people. Yeah, 100,000 is an intimidating amount of people. 90,000 Wembley Stadium cap is intimidating. Where is the 3 million coming from? What's the methodology? Like, who's confirming this? Today's protest, the pleb, quote unquote reporter, 167,000 followers. Again, what's he say? Today's protest against mass immigration. Police are estimating that multiple people have said the police. This pleb, the reporter, this guy. Again, he's got like a large following. A lot of people suggesting that the police have said that there's 3 million. I can't find it anywhere. I can't find it anywhere. So did you attend? Did you agree? Have you changed your mind? Are you willing to recognize maybe it wasn't 3 million, maybe the numbers are a lot less? If so, and not just that, Tommy's telling you to tell people who say that it's 150,000 that they're liars. Yeah, he's not just saying it's 3 million. He's saying that it's like, what was his wording? The liberal elite and the legacy media have labeled everyone far right. Those millions of us showing today, not that one. Yeah, the Guardian reported 110,000 at our. Yeah, literally their own helicopter showing millions of patriots. It didn't. That video even showed a tiny percentage of the total map. It showed that little slither of land. It was a 2-mile stretch, and it showed you less than a mile. It showed you less than half. Yeah, and the estimates we're getting were around 200,000. With me being clumsy with my estimates, with me being ridiculously generous, we got 200,000, and what he's quoting here in this very thing, yeah, like he's saying that there's literally millions in that video. There isn't. There's no way there's millions. Plural. He's not just saying there's a million in that video, half the stretch, yeah, from the IMAX to Blackfriars Bridge. He's not just a million. He's multiple millions, plural millions. He's not. He's excited. That's all I can boil it down to. Like, he's excited. There was a large crowd. 100,000, 150,000 is still a lot of people. The thing is, I think what he really wants is he wants this world record. Yeah, he wants it to be a record. He wants it, like they estimated. Again, they're using the same methodology, but when there was the Palestine protest, they were estimated to be around 300,000, which is a lot. That's a lot. Now, if he got less than that, that's a bit of a kick in the nuts. You know what I mean? More people came out to protest Palestine and the injustices that are happening there. He's pro-Israel, keep in mind. He wants the crowd that's following him to have been larger than that. It has to be, because he needs to think that he's got the majority, and he needs his followers to believe that there is a majority. And this is all political maneuvering. But yeah, he's saying legacy media here, proving again they'll just lie to your face for their own agenda. I can't help but feel that's what Tommy's doing here. He's lying to your face. He's telling you there's millions of people, millions, yeah, multiple Manchester's population. Yeah, not just the population of Manchester once or twice, but like literally 3 million. He wants you to believe there are 3 million people in this video alone, squashed in 1 mile space. 6 cities of Manchester squashed into one road. One road. He wants you to believe there are 33, more than 33 Wembley stadiums on that one road, 1 mile stretch of road. You would need a density of them machines that crush cans into small blocks. You'd have to have like that to get that many people into that small space. It's obviously the word small is relative. It's still a large space. 150,000 is still a large crowd. Take the win. Like, that's a lot of people. Yeah, you don't need to over exaggerate for this to be impressive. Like, it can still be impressive with 150,000 people. It can still be something that we all need to start taking seriously and having a conversation about. Like, it's not a fringe movement. There's 150,000 people from around the UK, and apparently from around Europe as well. From Poland, they're coming over. People from America were turning up. That's a significant number. 150,000 is a lot. It's not quite the 300,000 the Palestinians got, but it's still a lot. Just take that. You turn a W into an F. You turn a win into a failure when you have to try and like make this stretch and inflate your numbers by more than 10 times. Way more than 10 times, nearly 20 times. Yeah. So have a think about it, guys. But it's been a pleasure. And I hope we change some minds today. Take care.